It was a nuclear disaster that spread radiation across much of Europe and the then Soviet Union. A reactor meltdown that killed dozens of people, led to many more getting cancer, and left a radioactive wasteland. The explosion 30 years ago at Chernobyl's Reactor 4 raised serious questions about nuclear energy. And its impact has affected generations. Nature has begun to reclaim the land where people once lived. A place frozen in time, but not forgotten. The whole area around Chernobyl is sealed off. Signs warn of radiation poisoning inside an exclusion zone that spans 2,500 square kilometres. Inside, a vast stretch of land is left almost entirely empty. This is the abandoned city of Pripyat. It was built just a few kilometres from Chernobyl for the people who worked there and their families. 50,000 were evacuated in the days after the accident. Huge quantities of radioactive vapour blew across the area. 3 decades on, radiation levels are now much lower, but it's still left abandoned. A grim testimony to the scale and speed of the disaster. It's easy to forget in the ruins of Pripyat that this was a purpose-built city in the 1970s, built for the nuclear engineers that worked in Chernobyl and their families. And this was a comfortable place to live in Soviet times. There were gymnasiums here, cinema, swimming pools, and this cafe, which showed there was prosperity and wealth here. Levels of radiation in some parts are now almost at a normal level, so it's safe for people to visit for short periods of time. And near the old reactors, it's surprisingly busy. One of the former senior engineers that was in charge at Chernobyl tells me the 200 tons of uranium and plutonium at the site are still a huge threat.
Chernobyl is a danger, and the whole area surrounding the site is contaminated by the reactor. The plant is dangerous, but the danger will decrease. But for 300 years, it's extremely dangerous. And furthermore, for approximately 24,000 years, Chernobyl will continue to be a danger.
A new cover has been built for the reactor to contain any radiation in the plant if it collapses. It's a lesson to the world that when nuclear activity goes wrong, it's a tragedy that affects thousands and lasts for lifetimes. Nature is adapting. With so few people left in the region, wildlife is booming. In a place that brought death and disease. But the toxic legacy of the disaster remains. And it's a reminder of the dangers of nuclear power. Iolo Dafydd, the Newsmakers, Chernobyl.